Morning, beloveds. How are you all today? Happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day was always a special day in my family. We used to travel to a neighboring community to visit the family cemetery and spend the day with a picnic and doing all kinds of things. So whatever you're doing this Memorial Day, I hope that you have fun and I hope that it's safe. Welcome to Awakening Ways. I'm Dr. Frank Zemalan, Dr. Terry Zemalan, and I want to welcome you. Awakening Ways is a New Thought spiritual community in the lineage of Dr. Ernest Holmes. We're a community that believes there's a golden thread of truth and love that winds its way throughout all great spiritual traditions. And that whatever your spiritual tradition may be, whatever that tradition is, there is a strand of that golden thread contained within it. You know, Awakening Ways was started almost 11 years ago now for the purpose of helping people to awaken to their own divinity, to awaken to that within them, which is divine, to awaken to their own ability through their consciousness to create a life more abundant. And we do that in a number of different ways. Ordinarily, right now we're kind of limited, but ordinarily we do it through Sunday gatherings like this with wonderful music and uplifting talks. We do it through meditation. We do it through workshops, through classes, and especially we do it through prayer. We've all come to this place by different paths. Some of us have come here through a traditional Christian route. Some of us have come through a Catholic, a Jewish, whatever route brought us here. Whatever route brought us here. For today, we're here together. And for today, we're here in this wonderful place of togetherness in our separateness. What a wonderful way to celebrate. Whatever it is that brought you to your computer this morning to join us, whatever you do when you leave this morning, for right now, for this sacred moment, for this precious moment, welcome home. We've been waiting for you. I'd like to take just a moment to say a prayer to get us into that consciousness of the divine that is ever with us. So if you will, join me. If you're comfortable doing so in privacy of your own home, close your eyes. And know with me that there's a divine source of all life, a divine source of all love. It is that one infinite presence, that one infinite life in the universe. It is creator, creating all life, filling all life with itself. I know that I am part of that life. I am one with that life, that I am a beautiful and magnificent creation of the divine. Born to be perfect as the divine is perfect. And I know that right now, right here, God and I are one. And as that's true for me, I know it's true for each and every person on this call this morning. And in that knowledge, I declare that Spirit truly is here. God truly is here in each and every one of us. God speaks, God sings, and God listens. And I know that as we go forth from here today, We go forth in that knowing. I know that Dr. Terry, as she speaks her word, speaks that pure, perfect word of the divine flowing through her unimpeded. For her ego is out of the way and only spirit speaks. I know that our musicians, as they sing from that place of pure, loving spirit. And I know that each of us on this call responds from that spirit. For that I give thanks, for we are truly so blessed. I have spoken my word. There's nothing more I need to do except to say, and so it is. Amen.
I release all that is unlike love. Today I judge nothing that happens. And if things go bad, I don't feel sad. I just let it be, let it be perfect for me. I embrace all that is good in the world. Today I hold everything sacred. When I feel low, I let it all go. I just let it be perfect for me. Today I embrace all that's good in my life. Today I love everyone as equal. And if things go wrong, I just remember this song, and I let it be perfect for me. And I let it be perfect. And I let it be perfect. And I let it be perfect for me. Perfect for me. It's all perfect in my world.
Namaste. I'm almost speechless right now. Thank you. Thank you to Dr. Frank this morning. Thank you to Karen and to Jimmy and to Steve. You know, that song, I think Jimmy wrote that song. And we've heard it many times, but I just want to honor Jimmy this morning, because that phrase, I let it be perfect for me is a mantra that I use so very often when I'm struggling with something, and I just stop and I just say, you know what? I just let this be perfect for me right here and now. And so, Jimmy, you've changed my life because of that. Thank you so much. So the divine in me honors and greets the light and love of the divine in each and every one of you here this morning. And I want to be able to see you, and I can't see you right now. Hold on 1 minute.
I think he's got you spotlighted.
Oh no, here we go. Here I go. Oh, there you are. Lovely, lovely. It's good to be here, and it's good to be with you. Thank you for joining us this morning. So, a first grade teacher asks her class, she says to her kids, to the little first grader, she says, what's the color of apples? So most of the kids say, well, apples are red, teacher. And some of the kids said, well, apples are green. And then little Johnny, he raises his hand and he says, teacher, apples are white. And the teacher, wanting to be kind and gentle, approached Johnny and she said, you know, Johnny, apples are generally red or green. Sometimes they're golden, but they're not white. But Johnny was insistent. He was very insistent. And finally he said, no, teacher, all apples are white. Just look inside them. Right? So true. So notice that in that little story that really all the children were right. You know, apples are red, apples are green, apples are golden, and apples are white. So Johnny's answer didn't make any of the other answers wrong, right? He just was expressing his own perspective. And he had a different perspective than everybody else. So we might call that perspective, you know, looking from a deeper place of being, not looking in an ordinary way, looking beyond the obvious, beyond what is there. We used to call that, I don't know, maybe they still use that phrase, thinking outside the box. But Johnny definitely thought outside the box, and we call that way of thinking creative thinking. I was thinking about creative thinking, and you know, sometimes in our culture, creative thinking is rewarded. Sometimes creative thinking is not appreciated. But this morning, we are definitely appreciating all forms of creativity. Our seed of awakening for this month is creativity. You know, we think about creative people and we say, oh, those people, they are so gifted, they are so lucky, they're so fortunate to have these talents and these gifts. But I think that if we asked some of them if they felt like their talent was a gift, I think sometimes they would say, yes, sometimes I feel like it's a gift, and sometimes, you know, not so much, because the truth is that great creativity is born sometimes from a great sense of joy. You know, a child is born, a new baby comes into the world, and a poem gets written. A beautiful poem gets written in celebration. In the same way, a friend dies and a poem gets written, right? When we fall in love, we want to celebrate and sing and sing a song of joy, right? On the other hand, if our heart gets broken, we still sing. We're just singing a different song. The creative process comes from a powerful need within us to express in a tangible form what we're feeling. And sometimes this need can be a little painful. You know, that pressure, that urge to create can sometimes be a little uncomfortable. That's just the nature of it. But in the end, when that creativity is finally expressed, it does bless us. When we express our creativity, we are blessed. We are grateful. We almost always have some kind of a healing as a result of it. Something gets released, something gets fulfilled. We have a catharsis. We have something remarkable happen. And it's a very, very good thing. And the fact that others are blessed by our creativity is usually just a bonus for the other people out there, because when we are expressing creatively, we're not really doing it for other people. We're doing it because we must, because it is something that's moving in us. As I was thinking about creativity this week, you probably shouldn't talk about something that you don't know anything about. So I was exploring creativity for myself. And so I asked myself this question: what does creativity feel like to me personally? When I'm being creative, what do I feel? What happens when I'm in the state of creativity? And so the first thing that came to mind was that I feel this this energy. It's kind of a pressure. It's not a negative feeling, but it's this energy that kind of runs up and down the core of my body, and it's persistent. I don't know what else to say. It just keeps going, and I'm always aware of it. There's kind of this, I won't say urgency, but there's this knowing in me that I need to be doing something. There's something I need to do. Now, I may not know what that something is, but I know that I need to do something, and I need to figure out what that something is, because I need to be able to kind of do something with the energy that's making me feel uncomfortable. And so my process is to just sit down and to be quiet and to connect with that stirring, that energy inside myself, and just begin to explore with my mind. Now, this is my process, because then naturally I go right up into my mind and I start asking myself questions, right? Like, so what is this? Is this about this? Is this movement about that? Is it about something else? And at the same time, there is this higher self within me that is right on the heels of every question that I ask, right there, jumping in and saying, no, it's not that. Nope, it's not that. Nope, it's not that. Keep going, keep going. Nope, it's not that. And finally, what happens is that I will ask a question and I will receive some kind of an answer in that what I feel this energy is about and my question match. So there's an energy match. What I think this is about and what I feel it's about match up. And so now I know what it is that I need to do. Now I know what it is that I need to create. And then the next thing I do is, I set about creating that. This, for those of you, this is my process. I recognize that, and maybe it's true for you and maybe it isn't, but hopefully my experience will help you in some way. I know that this was the process that I used when I wrote those Gracelets, those Gracelets that are coming in the mail. Some of you have been opening them up. Well, I remember that when I wrote those, I was going through kind of a, I don't know, an existential crisis. I don't know. It's like a spiritual and emotional transition at that point in time. And truthfully, the honest truth, never, ever, hear me, never, ever have I considered myself a writer. And yet I kept getting this feeling here, in my core, that I needed to write something. And I'm going to tell you right now that I was resisting this big time. really big time, because this so did not match me in any way. I can't even tell you. Frank could tell you that writing is not one of the things that I readily turn to. But even though I kept trying to push it away, it persisted. It kept coming at me. It would not go away. And so what choice did I have but to surrender? It was the only thing that I could do, because I felt the feeling and I knew I had to do writing. And so I had to just do it. I had to surrender. And I was surrendering to that divine creative process. And so I just let it take over, you know, I just let it roll. I just let it be. And it took over immediately, took over my mind and my body in that very moment, you know, at that precise moment in time, once I said yes, once I surrendered. And so basically my job for 40 days, because there's 40 of those gracelets, for 40 days, my job was to get out of the way and to allow that divine creative spirit to work through me to bring these into creation. And let me tell you, if you're like me and you have any kind of control issues at all, you know how difficult this could be, because my control issues kept popping up. You know, I want to do it this way. I want to do it this way. And it just doesn't work in the creative process. You have to surrender and allow it to move through you. So for 40 days and for 40 nights, I lived, ate, breathed these gracelets. And truthfully, I was in and out of that divine flow throughout this whole process. That's kind of our human nature. We want to do, we want to surrender, and yet there's something in us that tries to take it back. But day 40 did eventually arrive. And day 40 means that I was at the end. And honestly, when day 40 arrived, it was bittersweet, you know. I was grateful that it was over, and yet there was a part of me that was sad, because imagine that divine creative process had been my constant companion for all those days and for all those nights. And I knew that I had changed. I knew that I had grown and that I had deepened because of this process. And so it was a little bit sad for me, and yet I felt so fulfilled. So this was my process, you know. First of all, I kind of got this call to go within, to listen, that, you know, the call that something's moving in you. And then I had to get clear on what it was that I was supposed to do. And then I had to actually do it. I had to do the creation. And then I got to celebrate. So those were kind of the stages for my creativity: the call, the clearing, the getting clear, the sifting through what's going on in my mind and in my heart and in my body, the sifting of what there is for me to do, to actually do, and then the doing, the creation, and finally the celebration. So maybe your process is different, but what I know is whoever you are, you're always creating something, and you're always going through some kind of creative process, a creative process of your own, of your very own. But no matter what process you're using, any spiritual endeavor, I think, requires that we recognize that movement that's taking place within us is the divine knocking on the door of our hearts. It is spirit whispering in our ears what we need to hear in that moment. And really, it is spirit that is saying, come on, come and play in the universe, come and express yourself. Be free and be who you really are. Bring out all of those special things about yourself. Let them out and let them shine in the world. When we get these calls, however big they are, however small they are, we really need to respond in some way. We really do. I came across this quote by, one of my favorite authors. I quote him all the time. I could apologize because I keep quoting him, but I'm not going to do that. He's just a great writer, and I love what he has to say. And it's writer-poet Mark Nepo. And he said this. Listen to this now. God enters us like a brilliant stone falling into a lake. And the past ripples behind us, and the future ripples before us. And we are breathing in eternity. Take a deep breath with that. Take that in. Is that remarkable? This is the truth for us. This is where we truly live. We are always in the now moment. We are always standing in that place where the future is before us and the past is behind us. And this place where we stand, this now moment, is the moment that is filled with all of the potential of creation. This is the fertile ground of being. This is where everything happens. Right here, right now. And right here and right now. And always right here and right now. This is where our ideas can be born, and this is where our ideas can come into expression to be fulfilled. One of the roles of meditation and prayer is to lead us into that holy space of creation, into that place between the past and the future. When we do our meditation practices, we often say, go to that place between the breaths, right? Go to those silent places where spirit dwells. Go to the place between thoughts, into that stillness. And when we're able to go into those places, when we're able to get still and quiet, you know what we experience? You've been there, I know you have. We experience this vast spaciousness. And it's like the original space, right? It's the original space of creation. It's the birthing place of the universe. That place of the divine. Right there, right where we are. And so it is from this place that we are able to create our prayer work. Our prayer work comes from this place. The more we do our meditations, the more often we go to this place of stillness and quiet, this place of infinite vastness. The more we go there, the easier it is to return there. And so when we're doing our prayer work and we move into that place of unification with the divine, this is where we go. We go to that place of stillness. We go to that place of power. We go to the source of all creation, into that one mind, as Ernest Holmes would call it. And it's from this place that we speak our word. We move that vibration of our word with its intention fully behind it. our intention, and then we speak our word into that energy field, into that vastness. And this is where creation begins. So we've spoken our word in there. And depending on our intention, because we have set this creation in motion, we may experience a healing for ourselves or for others. We may experience the manifestation of our heart's desire. We may manifest a change in the world. Anything can happen because this is the ground of infinite possibilities. And we are stating our word right into that energy field. It is so powerful. And we do this again and again and again in our creative prayer process. I'm sure all of you have had some form of answered prayer, and you've all spoken your word and done some form of this process at one time or another. The other thing that happens to us in life is that, you know, we get these inner nudges to create something, but as spiritual people, we also get these inner nudges to do prayer for other people. Do you know what I'm talking about? Maybe you're driving down the road and all of a sudden someone's face will come to mind, or someone's name will come to mind, and you'll say to yourself, you know, I think I need to pray for this person. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to pray for, but I know I need to pray for them. I know for the world at large, probably all of us are experiencing that right now. We see so many things that need our prayers, and it's so confusing and so frustrating. We don't know what to pray for. It's like too huge, it's too big, it's too much. And so we get confused and frustrated, and we just kind of throw our hands up in the air and we say, you know, I have no idea. And then we just say, I can't do anything right now. It's too much for me to deal with right now. But what I know is that if we're getting that nudge to pray, then we need to respond and we need to pray. And so why not just use this little process, you know? Why not just, you know, recognize that you've been called to pray? Okay, you know it, you can feel it. And if you don't know what to pray for, then just go within and ask your higher self, for clarity, what is it that I need to be praying for right now? And if you don't get any clarity, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to worry about that, because you can always say a prayer for whoever or whatever the situation is. You can always pray for the highest and greatest good for whomever or whatever the situation is. And then you just do your work. You just do the creation process. You do your prayers. And then you celebrate. And the way you celebrate is you just know that what you have just prayed for is already done. It's already happened. And even if you can't see it, it's already true. And so that creative process works in our prayers magnificently. And it works especially if you don't know what it is that you need to pray for. So I want to encourage you not to give up and not to quit when you get that urge to pray and feeling like it's too much. Just stop and just pray for the highest and greatest good. That would be wonderful. What a gift for all of us to do that. You know, Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "The thought you hold is like an image. Hold the thought, then with the image of faith, trust, expectancy, enthusiastic conviction, and with undying trust, hold it." So what he's reminding us is that whatever it is that we want to create, in order for us to create it, we have to put our feeling behind what it is we're praying for, what it is we want to create. We must energize whatever it is that we're praying for, whatever it is we're desiring, whatever it is we need to know. We put whatever it is we're creating, right? Even if we're painting a picture, we need to put our emotions behind the picture. If we're writing a song, we know the energy and the love and all of those emotions go behind that. So if we want our prayers to be creative, then we have to put our energy behind it. So I'm thinking that especially now in these times, we're called to bring in all of our mighty spiritual tools, all of them that we can muster, and allow them to empower us. Allow them to fill us with that what did he say, that faith, trust, expectancy, and enthusiastic conviction, to allow those practices and those tools to fill us with that energy so that we can have the most potent, powerful effect in the world today. We simply must do this. And you know what? There are so many resources right within our own hearts and minds. And I'm going to share just a couple of them with you, just to remind you of what's within you right now. Okay, number one is the power of your word. Okay, do you understand how powerful your words are? How every word that you say, actually every thought that you think, has the power to create, that those words literally set forth a vibration out there into that creative medium that allow things to come into being. The power of your word. Number two, the power of yes. I love this one. The power of yes. The power of yes shifts the energy of our thoughts into this positive mode of infinite possibilities. And if you don't believe that's true, just for a moment, close your eyes, take a breath, and just silently to yourself say, yes, 3 times. Yes. 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 Take another deep breath. Come back to me. I'm looking at your faces here, and you know what I see? I see smiles. It's almost impossible not to have a smile on your face when you close your eyes and say, yes, yes. You don't even know what you're saying yes to. You're just saying yes to the energy of yes. Awesome. Fabulous. That is a power for creation. The next one is the power of love. Do I really need to talk about this one? The power of love is the original underlying energy of the universe. I love it when Frank says, and my love propels my prayer into manifestation. Love is that propelling action. The next one is the power of now. This is an easy one. We've talked about that already. This is where all of creation takes place. In this now moment, and this now moment, and this now moment, and in this infinite here. And the last one is mine. Mine is, we are all endowed with the power of wow. The power of wow. And what the power of wow is that it's the power of joy and the power of fulfillment in the creative process itself. The power of wow. That is so amazing. Ernest Holmes said, you exist that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. This is why we exist. And so why not fire up those feelings? Why not fire up that energy? And so in my closing today, I'm gonna say an affirmation, a little prayer for us, and I'm gonna speak it in the first person. And I'm gonna invite you, when I speak these words, to move into that place in your mind. And as I speak them, allow those words to be true for you. So first of all, the invitation is for you to think of something that you desire, something you would like to create in your life, or something you would like to see created in the world. Whatever it is that's moving in you, think of something that you would like to create. And then, like Ernest Holmes said, if you can, create an image of this in your mind. See this image in your mind, or feel the truth of this in your heart, or hear the sounds of it already being so. See, hear it, feel it, however you experience it. And then I invite you to close your eyes and just relax, holding that image. As I speak these words in the first person, and I invite you to say them in the privacy of your own mind after I have spoken them. I declare that the power of my word is spoken with the power of yes. I know that the unstoppable power of love ignites my desire into creation. That desire takes place in the power of this now moment. And I release and I celebrate this creation with a joy-filled power of wow. And just keep breathing and just holding that truth. And I know that these words that we have all spoken, that we have all uttered in the silence of our own minds, that these words have power, power to create, power to manifest, power to come into demonstration, into our lives and into the world right here and right now. And I am so grateful for this truth. I am so grateful for this process. And I am so grateful for these gifts that we have all brought forth from our own hearts and minds. I celebrate these creations, knowing that they were all divinely inspired. And I let all of this go, knowing that it is all already done, all already so. I let it go, I let it be. And so it is. Just in closing, a reminder that we are all power-filled beings. So let's use our power to create the best world possible for us today. So be it. And so it is. Namaste.
Create in me the life I need, born of love, joyfully. Create in me awakening, spirit divine. Creativity, creativity is right inside of me. It's what I'm meant to be. Creativity, always guiding me, spirit divine. peace I lead, born of love, joyously create in me awakening spirit divine. Creativity, creativity, it's right inside of me, it's always guiding me. Creativity, it's there for all to see. Spirit divine. Time for a solo. A short one. Create in me security. Spirit divine. Create in me the life I lead. Spirit divine.
Thank you, Jim.
Love the applause.
Love the applause. That was great. Few announcements before we close. This week the president announced that he wanted churches to open back up again, and since then I've gotten some questions from people about what our plans are. We don't plan on opening up yet. We plan on doing this in a really timely and responsible way to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. So we'll let you know when we're going to be doing that. Next week, don't forget that Timber Hawkeye is going to be here with us. Timber's the author of a Buddhist Boot Camp. He's a wonderful speaker, and I think that you'll all enjoy him tremendously if you've not seen him already. Reminder too that prayers are always welcome, that we are still doing prayer work for people. We will continue to do the prayer work for people. So if you have something that you need in your life, prayer for right now, please write to us at awakeningways@thegrid.net, and we will be happy to include you in the prayer list for the soul support team. Be sure to put prayer request in the subject line. And lastly, we're only able to do this with your contributions. And I know that it's tempting when you're sitting there at home just to forget that. But we still do need to be able to pay our bills. So we would welcome any contributions that you're able to make. You can find on our website, go to our website, and you can find how to do PayPal. You can find our address for mailing checks in, whatever it is that you choose to do. So with that, until we see one another again, please know that you go with our blessings and go with spirit, allowing that creativity to speak through you and as you, guiding, guarding, and protecting you in all your endeavors, in all your ways. We love you, and we'll see you again next week. Namaste.